Chapter 5 Raleigh, Townsend. May 23rd, 1861. Later that same night. From a closer distance, Hampton was sure it was Raleigh. He wondered what the boy was doing walking about alone at this hour of the night, especially considering he was going in the opposite direction from his home. The Mallory farm was miles away and clear on the other side of a forest. The grove of wilderness separated the Mallory place from the Warren farm. It was the biggest and richest farm around. No one had more slaves than Colonel Mallory. "Woohoo!" Hampton called to the boy and waved. Hampton hoped no one was in need of medical care. With the war starting, doctors and their remedies were scarce to none now, outside of the army. "Raleigh?" Hampton called, jogging to reach him. "Is that you?" He could see that the boy had been running. Raleigh stopped and gave acknowledgment to Hampton. He put his hands on his knees, bending over to catch his breath. "Yes, it's me." "Where are you off to, Raleigh, at this time of night?" "Hampton," the boy said, hardly able to talk and breathe at the same time. "Papa sent me to—" "Your papa? Is everything all right?" Hampton felt worried. "Yes," he huffed. "He's fine." "Well, I don't know. I pretty much think so." "What happened?" Hampton felt alarmed. "When did you last see him?" Hampton knew the boy's father, James Townsend, very well. James and two more of Mallory's field hands, Shep Mallory and Frank Baker, were being sent to build artillery placements for the Confederates. The three men were often gone for long periods of time. No slave wanted to fight on the side of the Confederacy and what they stood for, or help them in any way. Hampton felt himself lucky he was not forced to be in that position to work for the rebels. "Tonight," Raleigh began. Just now." The boy could hardly get his words out straight. He was so overwhelmed. "Oh, Hampton, you won't believe what just happened. You just won't believe what we did. I can hardly believe it myself. But it's done, Hampton. It's done. It's done. And now it's started." "Started what?" Hampton feared the worst. "Slow down and tell me. Make sense to me," Hampton said. But Raleigh could hardly pause. "Slow down now and catch your breath," Hampton told Raleigh as he placed a gentle hand on the boy's shoulder to calm him. After sitting quietly for a moment, Raleigh was finally beginning to breathe easier. "Well," the boy began, "as always, Master Mallory sent Shep and Frank and Papa to build another artillery placement. This time, he sent them just near to the Union Fortress Monroe at the James River. This time, Papa brought me along with him, because of my iron-working skills," he said. "But they didn't use them. They didn't do it. We didn't do it. We never built it." Hampton's heart had been racing, but now it was going even faster. As the breath left his lungs, he broke out into a cold sweat at Raleigh's words. He felt alarmed. Hampton knew he had to be patient and hear the boy out. Raleigh was already having a hard enough time catching his breath. Hampton needed to know the why of the mystery that was unfolding. "What happened? Speak plainly, Raleigh. Were you caught? Did you escape? Did Colonel Mallory change his mind?" "Not hardly," Raleigh began again. Hampton could see how shaken up the boy was. "We did not build it, Hampton. It had nothing to do with the colonel. Before we left, Papa and them got word that by the beginning of the week, Master Mallory was planning to send the three of them farther down south, to South Carolina, to do the same thing down there. Papa and Frank and Shep got to talking about it for a long time, too. They all agreed, no matter what, they would not do it. They would find a way not to go. You know Papa doesn't believe in what they're doing." "Yes," Hampton said encouragingly, eager for Raleigh to continue. "So instead of putting the artillery embankment at Fortress Monroe, we went across the river and turned ourselves over to the Union soldiers." "You did what?" Hampton's eyes grew wide. He could not believe what he was hearing out of the boy's mouth. "Yes, we did." Raleigh took a moment to let his words settle over them. Hampton couldn't help but remark how much the boy looked like his father, as if he'd gained more than 10 years just by telling this story. "You see what I mean? Papa said it was bad enough Master Mallory forced them to work against the Yankees, but he said for sure he would not be sent into the deep South farther away from his family. to be of any more help to them. Papa said they didn't know what else they could do. Hampton was stunned. His mind was racing. If Raleigh's story was true, Hampton could understand why the boy was so shaken up when he first arrived. Hampton himself needed time for this tale to catch up to his thinking mind. What happened? What did they do to you? The soldiers, I mean. Hampton wanted to know, fearing the worst. He had heard horrible tales of what the Northern Army would do to slaves if they were caught, but thinking on it, it could be no worse than the capabilities of a slave's master. A smile finally cracked on Raleigh's face, and Hampton felt some of the tension leave his body. Nothing bad. Nothing bad at all. They took us into the fort and kept us. They were friendly enough. They fed us all we wanted to eat. Then they talked to us. At first, they asked of us heaps and heaps of questions about why we came to the fort. We told them everything about what Colonel Mallory sent us to do. Papa and them are at the fort now. I was allowed to leave, only to fetch Mama from Master Taylor's farm. Raleigh paused again, some of the earlier fear returning to his eyes. That's where I'm on my way now. He wants me to bring Mama back with me to the fort. Bring her to the fort? Hampton wasn't sure what this meant. Yes, as quickly as I can, Raleigh added. What can she do there? It's not what she can do. It's what they'll do for us, Raleigh said. Papa said the Union soldiers will protect us. Protect them, Hampton thought. All this time, there was someone finally sent to protect the poor slave. Raleigh's words fell hard on Hampton's heart. Hampton did not know how the South would stand for this when the word got out. The law ensured that runaways must be returned to their masters. Hampton worried what would become of Raleigh and his father and the other men if they were wrong and they were sent back to Colonel Mallory. There was only one way to deal with runaways. You want to come down to the cabin and I can fetch you some water, Hampton said. Might do you good to rest a while. No, Raleigh said. Thank you. I brought my own. He smiled, pointing to an army-issued canteen strapped to his back. Hampton studied it. The weight of it in his hands put more truth and hope in his heart than Raleigh's words could. Still, he wondered if the Union soldiers could really be trusted. It all seemed so unbelievable. This blessed news did not feel as it should. Hope is not sweet when doubt lingers. Hampton did not want to dash the boy's hopes. He wanted the story to be true. Well, you better hurry on along then, Hampton told Raleigh, patting his back. Oh, Hampton, Raleigh called back. You should come too. Come to the fort? Hampton asked, surprising himself at how magnificent the idea sounded in his own voice. Hampton watched as Raleigh headed off down the road into the night. At the pace he was going, the boy would get to his mother's cabin by daybreak, maybe sooner. Hampton turned back down the path toward his cabin. Ruth was sure to be waiting for him. He knew what Ruth would say once he told her all he had learned from Raleigh. But how could he tell her what the boy had told him? Something not even out of his wildest dreams. Hampton hardly believed it himself, and he knew there was only one way to know for sure.